Hello and welcome, partner, to the Film Freakz podcast, the podcast about movies. Each episode is about a particular movie, and we'll get to this episode's movie in a little bit. But first, I need to invite you to join in on the fan vote, which usually happens during Tay's episode. This time, it's not gonna happen because we are doing the special 150th episode, which we'll reveal those movies at the end of Ray's episode. So got a little time there. But if you want to get your movie into the recommendation vote, go ahead and send us an email at ff.filmfreaks with a Z at the end at gmail.com. Or head on over to the YouTube channel and post a comment under the latest episode of Film Freaks. And or come over to the Discord and leave a message in the movie stuff section saying, I would like to nominate this movie. Or you can just message us directly. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. I am the good.
I am the bad.
And I'm the ugly.
Aw.
Wah, wah, wah. I'm Ray.
Hi, Ray. I just gotta say,
Welcome
Yemmy, that like cowboy accent was like all over the place. It wasn't there. It was there. Then it went away.
There are certain sentences that I can do very well, and there's some words that just don't come out right.
That's fair.
That boy ain't right.
Yeah.
But how we all doing? How y'all doing today?
Doing okay.
Ray, I expect your radio country accent to come out.
I'm good.
Well, we got some.
That comes out when it wants to.
We got some unfinished business from last episode. As you all know, we watched XXX, and I'm not talking about pornography. We watched a movie with Vin Diesel, and there were two people missing from that conversation. So I was just wondering if y'all had some thoughts on the movie, and if you had a score for Callus's Film Freaks spreadsheet.
I'm gonna leave everyone in suspense and do it next week or next time.
Oh my god.
I didn't have time. I barely had time to watch this movie. I did not have time to go back and watch that one. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm sorry to say the one that I watched was porn. So,
Ew.
So better?
honestly, 10 out of 10. No. I was gonna give that one a 2 out of 5.
That lines up.
Didn't really like it.
Honestly, I thought it would be lower, ma'am.
I'm being generous.
Because
Partner.
Callus, what did I give it? I feel like I gave it like a 1.5.
Yes, you did, partner.
Ray, your score was better than mine. That's blowing my boots off right now.
Listen here,
Ray,
cowboy. I was being generous. I didn't
don't
think
be
we could
generous.
do
Be honest.
halfsies.
Be honest. Yeah.
Well, then I was gonna give it a 1.5. Like, Yemmy.
Thanks.
I was
but
rounding up for
It's official 1.5 then?
yes.
Oops, I accidentally wrote 15. 15 out of 5 for Ray. She triple upped it.
Well, that was for the porn one.
Well, cowpokes, I'll say it. Tay, you can let this one slide then. Because we had P2's
You lucky.
we had P2's score, so that'll even it out.
I'll still watch it. Don't worry.
Well, for now, the average between the 4 who have rated it is 1.875.
Wow.
It's
Did
below
P2 actually kind of like it?
P2 gave it
I
like
rated
a 2.
it the highest.
Yeah.
I rated the highest out of everyone at a 2.5.
Wow.
Yeah, Callus was really into that XXX. Ray, what did you think of the neck tattoo? What was your rated out of 10?
11.
Oh, hell yeah. That right there is some fine cinema, I do tell you what. Well, folks, I was going to be mean and do another bad movie, but XXX kind of ruined me in terms of watching bad movies because that was just a bad movie, and I like to watch bad fun movies. So I decided, you know what? I'm not gonna do a bad movie. I'm gonna recommend a movie that I should have watched a long time ago, and that was The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Oh, mama. From 1966, also known as Il Buono, Il Bruto, Il Cattivo.
Where is that title from?
That is the Italian title because, Callis, did you know that this movie, along with A Fistful of Dollars and For a Dollar More, was made by the Italians?
Oh,
And it was
I did
filmed
not.
in Spain.
Oh,
Well,
And
that
most of
explains
the actors,
bad ADR.
yeah, most of the actors spoke Italian or Spanish. Only 4 actors in the film actually spoke English.
And it showed.
It did.
wow.
So,
So the Mexican character was actually a Spaniard?
possibly. I do not know for sure. However, this movie, directed by Sergio Leone, is about 3 men trying to find a strongbox containing $200,000. It's an epic of sorts. It's a wild, wild west story, except it was made in Italy and Spain. But it's still a beacon in the Western cinema universe, the WCU. Okay. And funny enough, a lot of people, they say that for A Few Dollars More, which came out in 65, A Fistful of Dollars, which came out in 64, and The Good, the Bad, the Ugly from 66, they're all part of the same trilogy. Clint Eastwood, even though he has a different name in the other movies, people claim that it's the same character who just changed his name. Now, I have not seen the other movies in this Western Fistful Dollars trilogy, but I have added them to my watch list now because I'm going to be unabashedly very hyped because I very much really love this experience. From the get-go, it just had the vibe that I was looking for in a Western. I mean, even though this man was an Italian, he apparently could make Westerns very good because his other Western movie, not a part of this trilogy, called Once Upon a Time in the West, has an average of 4.4 on Letterboxd, which is pretty good, all things considered. Should I cut the accent now, or should I try and keep going?
Yeah, I think you can stop.
I was trying to see how long you were going to keep it up for.
I could go all the whole time, honestly, partner. I really
Wow.
could. I played
So
Red
too.
Dead 2 with that accent for quite some time. I tell you what, it was kind of difficult to keep up, but I could do it. But I don't want to do it anymore. So,
Thank God.
so yeah, I mean, all that information is true. It was shot in Spain. It was, I mean, it's actually originally in Italian and it's dubbed in English. Yeah, I mean, the guy who directed the movie is a full-blooded Italian. So this, I mean, for a definitive Western experience that a lot of people claim is like the definitive Western experience, it will. I mean, it's not even American. It's actually not even anywhere near the American continent, which is just kind of funny, I guess, as a bit of a side. And like you guys said, it kind of does explain why the ADR was just a bit awkward at times. It was kind of like it was a dub, of course. That being said, I do think that this is like really good. Like I was enthralled from the beginning. The opening scene where like the ugly I hate to call him that, but the ugly bursts out of the like bar with a giant turkey leg in his hands. Like from then on I was like, yeah, this is looking pretty good. And I guess the first thing to say is like I think the soundtrack is absolutely just incredible in this movie. Like obviously the whole like wah wah thing has been overplayed at this point because it's so recognizable, and it's been parodied and redone so many times in so many different movies and medias. I mean,
Yes.
my first experience with that song in general, I think, was on Fairly Odd Parents. So like, it's one of those things where it's like, yet I'm trying to remove myself from like Fairly Odd Parents and Tom and Jerry or whatever, or some of the newer stuff that's come out, and like put myself back into the mind of someone watching this in 1966, where it's brand new, and it is very the soundtrack is very epic.
Iconic.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah, iconic too, very iconic, very epic, and it just. Ooh, when it swells, man, it takes you by the hand and just leads you. It's so good.
Wow, how do we follow that up?
Yeah, like I thought I was gonna get really old, especially because they kept playing or like anytime someone got shot, and I'm like, okay, this is gonna get old. But by the end, I was like, okay, I'm still enjoying it. So.
Yeah, I think it's a bit it's timeless, and it's just done so well. And it's not like the whole soundtrack is the
Yeah.
It's not the whole thing, but it does come up quite a. It's like the theme. It's like the Indiana Jones theme or something like that. It comes back when it's needed.
It's definitely one that's known by like pretty much everyone there in pop culture, even though like some people probably may not know that it comes from this movie specifically. They just associate it with westerns in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was part of like while I was watching, I was like, oh, it is from this movie, and then that's like I was saying, like I had to actually remove it from my mind, where it's like, well, I I heard it in this context, which would have probably ruined the experience if I was imagining Timmy Turner as Clint Eastwood in this movie. So.
Yeah, my dad's actually used to always talk to me about this specific soundtrack. I can't remember exactly why he kept bringing it up with me, but like I guess he talked about like the significance of the soundtrack and I guess what it meant to him. But yeah, like this particular song, the whole soundtrack is pretty good, but that particular song is just like I guess resonated with like so many people.
Definitive Western. Can't think of a Western without that song playing in your head.
That is true.
Yeah, that is true.
The other thing that I liked about this one was, even though it did have its violent moments, obviously, it was pretty against violence. There was a lot of lines in the movie that were like, especially from like the Union commander or captain or whatever that they went to.
The captain
with the with the bridge. Captain? Yeah, he definitely, like, they kind of dived into, which I guess would be kind of unusual at the time in the 60s, like diving into like kind of like PTSD or something, like it's something of that matter, where like he didn't want to fight anymore. He's like, I want to blow this bridge up and be done with it, right?
I mean, this was after the Korean War, so I mean, they knew some PTSD stuff, not as much as we know now, but
well, I'm just saying for like a 60s movie,
yeah,
like a lot of movies at the time, like you think about All Quiet on the Western Front, and it's like this soliloquy, this play, this very sing-song motion for cinema, at least. I mean, I know it's a book, and I know that the language in the book is very anti-war as well, but just like it does kind of glorify the war a bit in that movie as well, and obviously with the 2023 remake of it, like that really glorified the war angle. You watch something like Saving Private Ryan, and even though it's very hard hitting and it does a lot of like, brutal things in it, you like when I was a kid and I watched that movie, I think I was like 13, so I wasn't like a little kid, but I was like, oh, this is cool, and like, you watch it nowadays and it's like, well, I mean, they're definitely like showing the brutal side of everything, but they're still like glorifying it here and there. And with this movie, well, I really felt like it had the violent nature in there, and it made sense with the characters, and it wasn't like he wasn't going through an entire town killing like 15 people and then like blowing smoke off his gun and holstering it like a cool guy. There was real stakes, and there was I feel like there was a bit of like a bit of a message in there about war.
Well, that you know why you get that message? Because it was made by the Italians, or just anyone in Europe.
And also, it was like the '60s, so there was a whole peace and love message going around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It's true.
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood's not over there holding up a peace sign while he's
No.
That's the other thing
I
too.
wouldn't-
Like the movie,
I wouldn't call him good.
right? The movie like names him as the good, and they bill him as the good, and then the bad comes in, and like the bad's actually bad, even though we don't see him too often. He is a bad guy, and then the
He's
ugly,
just a-
like
Average mercenary.
yeah, I don't know if ugly was actually ugly.
No,
I
I
feel like
him the best looking guy of the bunch.
I feel like because Clint Eastwood was like when they were about to hang him for the first time, he was like better known as the Rat, and I was like, yeah, maybe this movie could have been called like the Good, the Bad, and the Rat. I feel like that kind of fits it a little bit better than the Ugly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I felt like
I'm gonna feel better, yeah.
I think I said this about the Good, the Bad, and the Weird, where it's like two of the characters really had a lot of presence in the movie, and then the Bad, he just kind of was there, and obviously he was doing things in the background, as we found out when he showed up at the prison camp. But I feel like we maybe could have used a bit more of him because
Yeah.
I just feel like it was maybe lacking some of the bad. And by the time he does start doing more things, especially towards the end, yeah, he's dead.
Yeah.
It's shot. But that's not to
I
say
will
that I didn't
say-
like how they characterized the characters. That's just a bit of a nitpick in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. Because like there was times I'm like, what the hell's the bad up to? It seemed like he had a more interesting story than like the other two did at first. It's like trying to find this guy for reasons we don't know yet. It's like, all right, yeah, what's going on with him?
Well, I mean, he kind of like got hint of that box pretty early on when he was like talking to the first guy.
Yeah, the farmer. or
Then he
whatever.
the farmer, he
Yeah.
mentioned a box.
Yeah, I
That's
got
when his,
Carson
his
knows in a
eyebrow
box. Fortunes untold. Yeah, I was wondering how they were gonna get all the characters together at the end of the movie, and pretty much halfway through, you kind of realize what they're going for. The money's obviously gonna bring them all together, and like the ugly. Why do I keep calling him the ugly? I don't want to call him
Tuco.
Tuco. Tuco, they come across like the Confederate wagon on accident, essentially in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
And like by the as soon as that guy had the eye patch, I was like, oh, here he is. Here's Carson. Is he going to join the group? No, he's just going to die. But it did set up the rest of the plot for the movie very well. And I liked how Tuco immediately is like, my friend, I can't let you die. Like when Blondie gets the name, like, that's
a pretty interesting plot point. Like him knowing the exact, I guess the address of like the name of the cemetery, but then, here comes Blondie, and he actually managed to grab the name of the grave itself. So like they were forced to work together, even though they were just trying to kill each other, like every other time they
Right.
met.
That's the other
From
thing.
very good plot.
That's the other
interesting
thing I liked about the movie too. There's an underlying comedic element in there as well. Not just with like the chicken leg at the beginning, but also there's that part where Blondie's about to be hung by Tuco, and the floor is like cannonballed underneath Tuco. So like the whole time you're thinking like, oh, Clint's gonna hang, but then the floor comes falls underneath Tuco. So it's like it's a bit of a switch there, a bit of a comedic beat for him to be the one to fall instead of Clint or Blondie,
Right.
I should say.
Blondie Clint, we all know who you're talking about.
I mean, he is the character.
Those cannonballs, like at a certain point, it just like cannonballs were falling into the empty town. I'm like, why are they shooting it into an empty town?
For fun.
Well, yeah, I thought the Union thought that the Confederates were held up there, because the Confederate army was running away and the Union was approaching. So I'm pretty sure they started bombarding it because they thought the Confederates were still there.
Maybe, perhaps. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, it was a civil war. Cannon fire all over the place. Shoot first, ask questions later. I thought you were about to bring up the fact that like during the bridge scene where the two armies are meeting in the middle, they showed like 50 cannonball shots, like shots of cannons firing.
Yes.
And it was getting a bit ridiculous after I was like, this is going on for like a full minute. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. There was definitely a lot about this movie that I feel like could have been cut to make
No.
it. Yes.
No.
Yes.
Well, what? All right, I'll listen. I'll hear you out. What do you want cut?
All right. So one, that scene you just
No.
mentioned, the 50 cannonball scenes.
No.
Yes. And I just felt like we kept getting like sidetracked from the main plot, and it's just like, oh well, here's a little B plot for you. Oh, now here's a C plot for you.
It's all about the
Like
journey.
them going up, blowing up the bridge and stuff. Yeah, I know, but I just feel like some of that could have been cut for time.
Well, they had to blow up the bridge so that the armies would go away, so they could go to the cemetery across the river.
I feel like they could have just gone to the cemetery across the river.
No.
Yeah, they could have. They
They didn't even need the bridge. They went to blow up the bridge and then go back to the Union side.
Hey, whoa.
They needed the bridge. Both sides wanted the bridge.
Think of this movie as the Odyssey, but for Western.
Sure.
Wow.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Yeah, I still feel like it definitely was too long.
I mean, in the Odyssey, Homer is constantly being dragged off course of his main objective, but in the end, he gets to the objective and he gets it done. And that's a classic book that was written thousands of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And do you have the same criticism for the Odyssey as you do for The Good, the Bad, the Ugly?
Well, I haven't seen the Odyssey in years, or read it ever, so. But I'm sure I'd give it similar criticisms.
Because at the beginning, when they originally get off course, which is pretty early on, after finding out the name and stuff, they get off course and they go to the prison camp. I was like, oh man, why are we like taking away from the main action or the main plot? But then I thought about it and I went, well, it's kind of like it's obviously just one big journey, and I started to relate it to the Odyssey, and that's kind of what justified the excursions in my head. Now, did they need to stay around some of these places as long as they did? Maybe not. I mean, they could have shaved maybe a minute or two off of these things, but I felt like each place they went to had particular plot points and stuff that made it all work. Like, if you go to that blown up town and the guy from the beginning of the movie who got shot by the Ugly or Tuco comes back, like if you cut that scene entirely, I mean, sure, you shave off like 10 minutes of screen time, but also you don't get that plot thread, that fun little like scene where he's in the bathtub and he shoots the guy through the bubbles, and there's a bit of stakes there, and that was also a bit of a comedic beat as well. I just feel like it all works it's all a sum of its parts, and I feel like it all works in the context of this large, epic journey that all three of them are taking. Although it's mostly focused on two of them, Tuco and Blondie. It's just all a sum of its parts, and I feel like if you take out any of those like sidetracked moments, you kind of lose a part of that journey.
Sure.
Do you see what I'm
That's
talking?
like,
My finger is wagging.
Yeah. I just, like I said, there's still definitely things they could have cut and still kept the journey.
Like what?
Oh, just cutting.
Don't say
as you mentioned.
don't say the cannon fire again.
Oh, I am going to say the cannon fire again.
But just random scenes like
That went on way too long, like the beating up Tuco and, playing the music. It's like, yeah, we get it. Okay, why is it still going?
Oh, that's such a powerful sequence. They're having the band play so that the commander of the fort doesn't hear the violent nature of what's going on inside the cabin.
And
it's also a very, very cool juxtaposition of the calm music playing while Tuco's getting
I'm
savagely
just saying it
beaten.
went on too long.
I don't think
I wanted to see that.
I think it went on just long enough to get its point across.
I feel like in the beginning of the movie, I kind of felt like, wow, this intro is kind of like being drawn out, quite a lot. Everything's like moving very slowly, and But you know, as the movie progressed, I realized, wait, everything's actually kind of moving at that pace, and it's not really drawn out. That's the wrong word. It's more like everything's deliberate. And if these scenes were to like proceed at a faster pace, it would not have the same impact as, you know, the reality of like them actually being as impactful as they are with how they're being shot and directed.
Yeah,
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean, I get that completely, and I agree. Like, if you watch, Tay was going to watch this movie at 1.5 speed at one point, and I feel like if you speed up those scenes, you don't get the same movie.
Yeah, I'd get a better one.
No. So
I guess it's just not for everyone.
I mean,
It's true.
sure, but no, I don't agree that the movie would be better if you put it at 1.5 speed.
No, I don't know if it would.
I just feel like, as Callus was saying, it's deliberate in its pacing. It's deliberate with its lingering shots. Just think of that final showdown between the three gunmen, where it's like lingered on the eyes for like 5 seconds, and then it lingers on the gun for like 4 seconds, and then it gets faster and faster and faster as the music. The music wasn't really ramping up, but it just got more intense with the cuts and whatever was going on, and that I think that sequence really shows how deliberate the longer scenes were to make sure that the shorter stuff had more impact in the story as well. But I mean, they kind of played with that throughout the entire movie, where sometimes it would hang on a frame a bit longer than you maybe expected it to, or like that quick glance through the hangman noose at the end of the movie. I felt like that could have maybe been extended, but they made a bit of a snappy judgment to do a quick cut there to that sequence to that scene. So I mean, yeah, they played with the length of the cuts a lot during the movie, and I think they were all relatively deliberate in their attempts to convey certain emotions through just like the editing.
Yeah. Although by the end there, I was like, oh, come on. You guys like are basically friends now. You both went for the bad. You both like
It's
you
the
already
West.
made him dig stuff up.
I mean, at the end, he let him go.
He did, and I'm glad, because if he didn't, I'm like, this movie is a 0 out of 0 or 5.
That's the old switcheroo. You expect Blondie to leave Tuco hanging there, and for a moment, you really do think he will, because he's out of the picture, he's gone, and Tuco's about to give up, and he comes back and he shoots the rope as he always does.
Mm-hmm. And if he hadn't, 0.
I
Are
mean,
you still with us?
yeah.
I'm just listening. I think this is fascinating.
Yeah, we have one lover of this movie and one hater
I don't hate it.
battling against each other,
It's great.
duking it out.
Rachel's like, it's great because you haven't asked for my opinion.
Shut up, Tay. Whose side are you on?
My own. That's what the movie taught me.
That's a great takeaway.
Yes.
All right, I'm ready for Ray to hate this movie. Go ahead.
I wouldn't say I hated it. I had more fun looking up some fun facts, or not really looking up, but like when Amazon has those on the sides, that was really
Yeah.
fun to read.
Ooh, do you remember any for us?
Well, I did not know that this was like a trilogy almost, which was kind of cool to figure out. Also, what's his face? His last name's Wallach. I forget who
Tuco.
he was. Yeah. Almost died 3 times. He drank acid by accident. He almost got decapitated by a train, and he
yeah.
rode for a mile in a straitjacket on the horse, like from one of the first scenes when he was about to get hanged. They didn't take into consideration that the horse would get spooked by what was going on, and so the horse
Oh, wow.
took off, and he couldn't stop it because he was all tied up.
That's amazing.
It's a real
Yeah,
nope
those-
moment.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. John Wayne also he was not a fan of Clint Eastwood. I know that really has nothing to do with it other than the fact that Clint Eastwood was in this movie, but thought that was interesting.
That was interesting.
Who's John Wayne again?
He's
The
he's
other
an
famous
old
cowboy
Western.
actor.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I thought, but I can't picture him at the moment.
That's okay.
Oh wait, no, never mind. I can now. I see him. I see him. He's in my head.
But yeah.
Actually, I don't think I've seen any John Wayne movies.
I don't know if I have either.
I know I have,
Probably
but I
have.
don't
I
know.
probably have, but
So in conclusion,
that didn't seem like a conclusion to anything. It seemed more like
Yeah, still no opinions given.
a diversion.
I got bored a lot.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of westerns I've seen, same. I just start to get bored. It's just like, okay. And I don't know why. Like, there's been a few I've watched that I really like, and then there's some I'm just like, all right, yeah, this is still going on. So I get you. I get you.
I guess it's like
mad about it, but I get you.
I guess it's just a symptom of like how movies were made back then.
Yeah.
Because
See,
like
I've seen a lot of old movies though,
yeah,
and a lot of them bore me.
there's a lot of very old long movies. Some even
Yeah.
longer than this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking about All Quiet on the Western Front. I think that's like a 3.5-hour movie.
Yeah, I think
That was
it
from
is.
like 60 something.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
I guess we should have started with the 1964 Fistful of Dollars because that one's only 99 minutes.
Yeah, so that's what I was expecting. Just because most older movies are shorter, besides the exceptions where there's like 3.5-hour, 6-hour movies. But so that's why I was like, oh, I've got time. It's only gonna be like a 90-minute movie. And then I looked at it. I was
Never
like,
seen.
I have an hour and a half left, or no, I have 2 hours left. But I've been watching this for an hour. Oh no.
Tay, I had the exact same reaction when I watched it. I was like, man, we've got to be halfway done, right? And then I saw it and
Yep.
I died a little inside.
I hear that.
See, part of the problem is that y'all are watching the clock tick. When
I wasn't, though.
You just
Yeah.
gotta not worry
Well,
about it and
I
enjoy the
I
experience.
was because I thought I
That's
had time to finish this so we could start recording on time.
That's a
which was
special.
not the
That's a
case.
special case for Taymation Studios. Okay, I feel like checking the time during the movie, like pulling up, like, oh, how long do I have left? I think in most cases you're gonna look at that and be like, what? And I feel like we've had that conversation a couple times throughout
yeah.
this podcast where you look at the time left on the movie, whether it be something bad like Transformers or something good, like I don't know, Parasite or something like that. I think no matter what you do, when you pull up that time bar, what's left with an expectation like, oh, there's only like 10 minutes of this left, right? You're always going to get that feeling of like, oh wow, there's still an hour left in this movie. Oh my gosh. So I feel like that's an unfair thing to do, especially for this movie where you kind of go, it has a reputation of being, a long Western, an epic Western.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
I did not know that going in. I didn't even check it when I hit play. I had no idea it was 3 hours long. I had no expectation for that. So when I was like getting up to stretch and I was like, oh yeah, I'm probably halfway done. That is the only time I was like, oh my God, what am I doing?
Well, look,
So-
if I can't
Her
recommend
choices.
3-hour movies on the podcast anymore, then I guess we're going into season 5.
No, you can't.
Because
Just let us know
anytime
beforehand.
I recommend a longer movie, it's always like, oh, this is so long. Why do we have to watch such long movies? Yemmy the Ferret recommending long movies.
So, like when Callus recommended RRR,
I was so dramatic about that.
but we were given it's going to be 3 hours long.
Well, hold on, because at the end of last episode, I did mention how that's a 3-hour movie, so it's your guys' fault for not being on the last episode.
Oh, I see. Blame the victim.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, like I said, I'm fine with 3-hour movies. I just need to know beforehand.
I mean,
Especially.
Yeah.
I guess I'll start putting the exact hour and minute of each movie along
That
with
might
the
be
rest of the
helpful.
information for y'all. I
That
feel
might
like
be helpful.
this movie is famous enough. I feel like I felt like everyone knew it was a longer movie.
I
I
had no
had
idea.
no idea about any of this movie. All I knew was the wahs.
I
and
knew the
that's
wah wah wah
it.
and that Borderlands. There's a side quest that like makes fun of that last scene.
I didn't know anything about it. Nothing. And I like going into movies that way. I don't want my opinion swayed in any way before I go into a movie that I've not seen before.
So you're saying you don't want to know the time, or you do want to know the time?
I don't care. Normally I do not care. Like I might be dramatic about it at first, but like I'm not a clock watcher when it comes to movies.
Okay.
So
That's
like
good.
that's okay. I will say I started to become one after I checked it the first time thinking I was halfway through. That was also because I also did not prioritize my time, so that was on me. I did not make sure that I had 3 hours to watch this movie. I made sure I had 2 hours to watch it. Not that it really did anything, it just delayed my house packing. But yeah, normally I don't do that. Normally I just kind of go, I guess it's like 2 hours long. I make that assumption and I made that assumption this time and I was wrong. And I am sorry.
I also made that assumption, and I'm sorry. Especially to Ray, who's so tired right now.
I'm okay actually. I'm
Oh,
doing
that's
alright.
good.
I was having
That's
fun
good.
listening to y'all get heated over there.
So Ray, is
So-
there like a scene that you did enjoy?
I enjoyed the scene when they're like at the hotel or whatever and Clint's like loading his gun and then like they're slowly opening the door but like he heard the spurs before
Oh, that was good.
and
Yeah.
yeah, I really like that scene. Also, it just reminded me, fun fact, he hated the taste of those little cigars to the point where like when they were doing takes, he said this better be the last one or I'm gonna go throw up. And it was like
Oh,
every
yeah.
time he said that they were able to get the take.
Wait,
I
who
was
said
just-
this specifically?
Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood.
Clint. Wow.
Yeah. Like every time I just saw it hit the cigar in his mouth, I just thought like that thing has to be so soggy by now. Like, have you ever had a sucker in your mouth too long and the stick starts like unraveling in your mouth? And that's just what I was picturing. But like, it tastes nasty.
So that explains why Clint Eastwood only likes doing one take when he directs movies. He just does one
Yes.
take and done.
PTSD from those nasty cigars.
Yeah.
But it's the part that I love about that scene in particular is how Tuco made it this whole thing to like rile up his 3 friends and like just get him roping them into this plot just to get them all killed, just so they can be the distraction and he can just come around the back.
Which I feel like that's more bad than the mercenary, where it's like, I'm being paid to kill you, so I'm gonna kill you. While he's just like, hey, you guys are my friends. Come, let me kill you for a diversion.
Yeah, I mean, Tuco's probably the worst one just because, you read they were reading like the super long list of like offenses that he made as to
Yeah.
why he was being hung. Which actually that list got even longer the second time he was being hung.
True. But yet he was also the most likable character.
That's how they get you.
He was the
Yeah.
most energetic.
Yeah.
But I really like Blondie though, like the way he just played everything cool. He's just he's got style.
The suave.
Yes, suave.
Yeah, they called him the suave instead of the good. Because he was, like I said, he definitely was not
the
good.
swab.
The suave, the bad, the batter.
Yeah.
The rat.
The rat. Yeah. The bad, the suave, the rat.
No, that kind of rolls off the tongue. I'm gonna make a movie called that now.
I think you should.
Well, if they can end it with the weird on one, you could probably take that.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's
Maybe
already
I'll
a
have 4
weird one.
characters. The maybe 5 characters. The good, an actual good person. The suave, who's just kind of a dick, but like he's suave. So you know, okay, fine. Then you got the bad, the rat, and the weird.
Well, I think when we watched The Good, the Bad, the Weird, I feel like the good was actually like he was like a policeman, right, or something to that effect.
He actually was a good person. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was a police officer, but yeah, he seemed to actually, you know, be a good person.
I mean, out of the 3, I guess Blondie is the best, like the goodest, the goodest boy.
Yeah,
The goodest.
The goodest boy.
he's a good little boy.
Which obviously rings true from that final scene where he shoots Tuco down, because the bad obviously would have probably killed him long before then, and
Mhm.
Tuco would have probably
Yeah.
slit their throats at night. So
Oh yeah, because all 3 of them are outlaws. So I guess yeah, relatively speaking, he was the good. Blondie was the good out of the 3 of them.
I guess he also had like since Tuco would really play it up when he captured him, like I guess the people in the cities or towns would probably think that he was the good guy too.
Yeah,
The
he was a
bounty
bounty
hunter.
hunter. Yeah, he would just go get all the bad guys.
Which like
I mean,
Was
it
Wait,
was a pretty good
what's,
idea.
yeah, it's not a bad idea.
was Tuco? Wait, was he like actually playing it up? I think wasn't that like the first time they met, and
No.
afterwards they decided to
No,
team
no,
up?
no. They,
No,
it
I
was
mean
all
immediately
planned.
after that they split the money 50-50. 1,
after
2,
that,
3,
but,
4,
like-
5 for you.
Yeah, I mean, it
Yeah,
sounds
because
like
they also said that
this
they
isn't
were,
the
like,
first time
raising-
they had done this.
Yeah, they were like raising his price, and he was like, "Oh, next time it's going to be $4 grand."
But it stayed at 3.
It's implied that they've known each other for quite some time,
Yeah.
and they've been doing this for a while. And he's slowly racked up more and more bounty, which gets them more and more money. It's like, Callus, think of it this way. It's like in Red Dead, when you go into a town, you just shoot everyone there, and your bounty just like starts rising as you shoot each person.
Right. No, it just I figured that like that was the first time they met, like when he first captured Tuco, and like once he shot the rope and let him go, that's when they teamed up because they figured, oh, like we can do it again now that your price has gone up. So that's why he decided to like right then and there to split the money and then like do it again.
Yeah, I got the feeling that this is not the first time. That was not the first time. So
Unclear, I guess. Unclear.
lost in translation.
Yeah, something. Yeah, the Italian translation, just something went wrong there.
Yeah.
And I guess Blondie was the first one to double cross him because like he decided to not team up again since his price was probably not going to go past 3K.
Yeah.
It's a cycle of
is-
violence, cycle of revenge, I guess you could say.
Which is, I think, why he kind of forgave him. He's like, yeah, maybe I deserve that. And it all worked out in the end, so sure.
It's funny how like all 3 of them kind of like teamed up with each other at one point.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did they really team up though? Because like Tuco got his ass beat, and then the bad and
Well, the
Blondie
bad
just
and the
went off.
good teamed up at one point.
Yeah, I don't think they all
Momentarily.
3 teamed up together.
No, I don't think they did.
Let's see Angel Eyes and Tuco. Yeah, I guess they were just like rolling together, but not exactly teamed up. They were like partnered up because they. Wait.
Nah, I think you remember wrong.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, because Tuco,
Yeah, I guess you're
like they because when Angel Eyes first meets Tuco again in the prison camp, they hadn't seen each other in forever. They were like old
Yeah.
friend, and then Tuco gets his ass beat, and then Blondie is just like, "Aren't you gonna do that to me?" He's getting ready, taking off his pants.
Mhm.
And they're like, "No, you're fine. You're coming with us."
I was expecting it, and then I was like, oh, okay. And then I also wondered at one point when he gave the name of the tombstone, with a fake one for but it turned out to be a real tombstone. I was like, how did he know this real tombstone was here? And then it's like, oh, okay, yeah, it was the one next to that.
Yeah, that was clever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good little twist there towards the end. I also feel like it maybe would be a bit obvious that the gold was buried in the unknown grave,
Yeah.
but that's just me.
Well, there were multiple unknowns.
Oh, yeah, you're right. The one next to Arch, whatever his name was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, never mind. See, Cal, you brought it back up to a 5. Good work.
Hey.
Yeah, there's something so breathtaking about the cinematography in this movie. Like, I know it's Spain, and I know like it's not exactly the Old West, right? But there's just something so it's just like it. I don't know. It's so like awesome. I guess you could say awesome. Like some of the vistas that they showed off. I guess a bit of a fun fact: during one of the vistas, you can actually see an electrical tower in the background that they didn't realize that they had filmed. But I mean, yeah, I mean, there's always like sweeping shots of the landscape, and I mean, to the untrained person who doesn't know that it was filmed in Spain, I don't think anyone would really know. Like, oh, that's Spain. Wait, I know that. I know that bush. Like, I don't. I think they did.
There was times I thought, for most part, I'm like, it looks like they just did like backdrop paintings, and then like there was one point where I was like, I couldn't tell. I'm like, is it a backdrop or is that actual? Because like, it kind of looks like Texas, but I think I see like a vineyard in the background, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure Texas doesn't have many vineyards that look that green, at least.
That Texas wine. Call it whiskey. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Man,
but they don't like that. It looked more like a European vineyard than an American vineyard. So that's why I was like, is this a backdrop? Is this real? Dang, maybe it was real and it was in Spain. So
Yeah, I mean, on top of this, like that, I mean, they also had to like build all these massive sets. This was obviously before CG was like really apparent.
Yeah.
And so like all those extras for like the army scenes, all the extras for like the people in the army, like they're all real people. It's not like because nowadays they can just like take like the front row and just copy and paste it essentially throughout the entire thing.
Yeah.
But in this one, it's like it's all real. And I think that's something that you kind of lose with a lot of the more modern day like movies like this, where you have a lot of bodies on the screen. Like even Lord of the Rings, like you had like 150 people on horseback for the Rohan charge at the Battle of Minas Tirith. But then there was also like more than, I think it was like 75% of them were actually like just copy pasted or CG models in the distance.
Yeah,
and that's about as good as you can get in nowadays for them doing this kind of stuff. Because nowadays it would be like, okay, so the main actor is the real guy with his co-pilot next to him. Everyone else is CG.
yeah.
And I think you kind of lose a bit of that like filmmaking charm when it's all just a bunch of like animated characters. And obviously it's hard to tell most of the time, right? And you're not going to sit there and be like, oh, I think that's a CG person. I mean, yeah, most of the time it's compelling enough and it's real enough. But nothing beats like something like this where it's like an actual swarm of people running at to each other, the dust coming up off the field, the army marching through the town, and just having that just presence there. It's hard to beat that. And I feel like a modern Western might try to cheese it a little bit. Have a couple of fake regiments in there, or the fake charge. And also like the explosions that happen. They were all real explosions. They couldn't like CG a PNG of an explosion in there. Like those are all timed and real explosions. So
That is true.
pretty crazy stuff.
That was a massive explosion at the bridge.
That funny you bring
Yeah,
that up.
that
They
looked
actually had to
insane.
blow that bridge up twice. It didn't
Oh,
work.
really?
It didn't work
Yep.
fully the first time.
Well, one
Yeah.
of the cameramen rushed it and blew it up.
Yeah, it's like when they first started putting the dynamite, and like they pulled out 2 bunches, and I'm like, is that all that's in there? Because like that'd make a dent in that like cement, or I guess not cement, but
Yeah, it was all
rock
wood.
foundation. It would not blow up the bridge. So, and even with that many sticks of dynamite, the explosion would not have been that big. And that's just classic movie magic, making explosions bigger than they actually are, and more fireball-y. And
Yeah, I feel like this movie kind of embraced the over the top nature of a lot of stuff.
well, I mean, like cannonballs don't explode on impact.
Well, the average viewer doesn't know that. That's
I think most people know that at this point.
I do now.
Yeah, you're just
Okay.
it's a big bullet. That's all it is. It hits and shrapnel's everywhere, and that's what does all the damage.
right. Yeah.
Learn something new
But
every day.
having a cannonball hit the ground and just do a bit of a thud and an explosion. Probably
Yeah,
not.
no, I know.
Probably not
I know.
awe-inspiring.
I know why they do it. Like I said, Hollywood's been doing that for ages. That's why no one knows what an actual gun sounds like.
I will say the sound effects for the guns in this movie, I felt like I was playing Time Splitters 2, baby. That old western level. Oh man, I was like, hell yeah! I know exactly where they got these sound effects from for Time Splitters 2, I should say.
Oh, you think they lifted it right out of this movie?
No. I mean, obviously, this movie also got its sound effects probably from the same
Yeah,
place.
it was a sound library.
Yeah. But
One that's been around since the 50s, maybe even the 40s.
surprisingly, no Wilhelm scream in this one, so
Oh, yeah.
they missed out on that one.
Interesting.
Well, in Italy, they do the bonjour scream. I guess.
That's French.
Right. Damn it. I don't know my languages. They do the Mario scream.
Wah!
Oh my god.
Mamma mia! Luigi, get down! Cannonball fire!
When they fell asleep, like in the bunker, or not bunker, but like in the sandbags, and like all these explosions are going off around him, and the one guy just has his ass up in the air. I'm like, dude, your ass would have been hit by so much shrapnel, like if you're just hanging out like that.
Yeah, how did they fall asleep both like that?
That's because it was going on for hours.
Yeah,
They
I mean,
just
you
fell
kind of
asleep.
infer that both sides thought that each other blew up the bridge, so they were like, fuck you! And they just threw all their ammunition out there. Well, I, for one, really enjoyed the experience, as you may have guessed. So,
Yeah.
I liked the characters. I liked how they were written. I liked the journey of it all. But I think this one has some really nice character deep dives, at least for the good and the ugly. Not so much the bad. That's the one part of the movie where I was like, I wish that there was more bad in this. Like, I know that he's there and he's doing things in the background while they're doing their stuff, but I feel like we could have maybe gotten a check up on him a couple more times, just to be like, hey, remember, this is the good, the bad, the ugly. It's not just the good, the ugly. I guess that's really the one sticking point for me with this one. Other than that, I think the rest of the movie stands up and stands the test of time, really.
Yeah, we got a lot of him like near the beginning, like a lot of scenes with him trying to get to the bottom of where the box is and like talking to different people. But yeah, like in the majority of like that middle of the movie, we barely saw him. It's interesting.
Yeah, and even at the end, like, he just kind of shows up at the cemetery, which he told them, like, see you soon, right? So, like, you knew he was going to be there, but yeah, I wanted more bad, because, like, the actor who was doing the bad, I mean, he was a great actor. Like, I thought he did a great job.
Lee
with the
Van
character.
Cleef.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure most of the characters from this movie also starred in the other two in the quote unquote trilogy. Which also, of course, begs the question, like, oh, is it actually linked together?
It's kind of like Simon Pegg's and Nick Frost and Edgar Wright's, Cornetto trilogy, where it's just like the same actors and stuff, but they're not actually a trilogy.
Yeah, it's like every single Wes Anderson movie has like a lot of the same people in it, and they're not playing the same characters per se, but they have very similar personalities because they're just kind of, playing themselves at that point.
Yeah, exactly. So, I will say the movie starts. It's just like 40 seconds of just scenery. It's like, okay, and then like this guy just like swoops in. My first thought was, oh, it's the ugly, because he was not an attractive man.
Yeah, I guess one of the little trivia things was that the movie starts off with like 15 minutes without dialogue or something like that.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah,
I
I noticed
noticed
that.
that. There was supposed to be dialogue. They just couldn't afford to ADR it in.
They're all talking to each other in the background.
Yeah. I think the ugly's in here. Why do we call him the ugly? I don't know. I think we're all pretty ugly.
Yeah, I think they like try to make him as ugly as possible with like just how he's always looks so dirty and like raggedy clothes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, they tried. At least when the weird was weird, like he was actually weird in the good, the
Yeah.
bad, the weird. Up until the end when he was revealed to be like the mastermind, but still, he was weird the entire movie. Ugly. He's a good-looking guy through most of the movie.
Yeah. Besides the part where he's like, sunburned and had to walk 70 miles in the desert.
Well, that was Blondie, so not the ugly.
Well, no, he had to do it first.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And he showed up at the shop, and took a gun, and was like, "I'm gonna go kill that guy, or go kill."
I love that
Blondie."
scene.
Yeah,
I love that scene where
how
he's just in there like
he's customizing his revolver,
yes.
and like
then he
he's
goes,
like,
"Test
how
it out."
much? 20? No, how much? 50? No.
And then he
How
laughs and he's like, "How much?"
Yeah, I like how he puts the sign to the guy's mouth too. Just like,
See, I'm just saying that poor shopkeeper. He
Well, you
needed
can
that
shoot
money
him
to
at least.
survive.
well, he'll be fine. Look at all those. He has so many guns in that store. Dude will be
He can
loaded
go
by
rob his
next
own
week.
bank.
Yeah. That guy kind of reminded me of the if you've ever seen the Coen brothers movie Buster Scruggs, and along with all the other like mini stories that were in there. The one is called like it has this guy like goes to rob a bank, and the teller, he kind of looks like that old man in this movie. He puts on a bunch of pans and he runs out of the bank chasing the guy who was stealing the money. And like the bullets were bouncing off of the pans, and he was like, every time he got hit, he was like, pan shot, and eventually he got to him and punched him in the face. I kind of reminded me of that shopkeeper guy, just not as crazy. I guess.
The shopkeep guy reminded me. I haven't seen Buster Scruggs, but he reminded me of someone too. And I tried to look, and the Amazon thing for some reason didn't show me actors at that point. And I was like, oh, well, screw you.
Well, if y'all haven't seen Buster Scruggs, that's also one of my favorite westerns.
Yeah, it was on my list to watch at some point. So
Buster Scruggs, I hardly know her.
I remember wanting to watch that. I
uh.
can't remember. I can't remember if I actually watched it or not. Probably
I think-
not. If I don't remember it.
Yeah, I feel like it's a pretty memorable one, especially that first sequence with Buster Scruggs himself. The only one of those like mini stories that kind of lacked, in my opinion, was the one with they were on like this prairie. It was pretty much the Oregon Trail, and it just kind of didn't really have a point. It was kind of like a dud of a section.
Oh,
but-
and did anyone die of dysentery?
No, but they did die to like arrows in their chest or whatever.
No. I mean, if you're going to do an organ trail thing, kill someone with dysentery.
But the good news is that the dog lives. So,
Oh, good.
Yay.
and that's not a spoiler because you don't know what I'm talking about.
And they'll
Okay.
watch it and go, oh, that's the dog.
The dog. What the dog doing?
Do you like dags?
I was about to say it. You like that?
Yeah, I think it's a full package. The Buster Scruggs, like, what would you call it? Like, it's several stories in one.
Anthology.
Yeah, like anthology.
anthology.
It's a good package. Like, there's just one that I didn't like that much, but the rest of them were like really fun, little vignettes, little stories. All self-contained, not really attached to each other. Lots of big names in there too. Leslie Nielsen, the guy from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou is in it, and Mr. Krabs. Mr. Krabs is in there too.
Mr.
yeah?
Krabs.
So yeah, if you didn't like this one, maybe you like that one because that one's a bit more bite size. You could like take a break after each story if you need to. It's also not that long. I think it's like an hour and a half, something like that.
Ooh.
That's not bad.
Speaking of taking a breaks, I will admit I started watching this movie on Saturday, and like after about an hour and 20-ish minutes, I kind of started feeling sleepy, and I was like, "Oh, I gotta stop." And like I continued it on Sunday, and I'm glad that I did because I feel like I was able to enjoy it better with that break there. I feel like I stopped it almost at the same spot where the intermission would have happened.
Yeah,
Nice.
I don't take any issue with people stopping a longer movie in the middle and cutting it in half. Especially like, because a lot of times there is like a moment where you're like, oh, like, this could definitely be like an intermission moment, or like this could be like the next episode of like a series, right? A lot of people did that with The Irishman because that was like a 3-hour Netflix movie, and like people were like, well, if you stop it at the 1 hour 6 minutes, it feels like the first part, and then if you stop it again at like 2 hours and 10 minutes, that's the second part, and then the rest is the third part. Yeah.
You can like definitely tell where the intermission would have happened, like when they left the church, like when after Blondie was feeling a lot better and they took off in that carriage. You know, the music swelled in, and like they did this long shot, and they rode off into the distance for like a long time. Like it almost seemed like the movie was going to end there.
Maybe in
But then it just
theaters there
continued.
was an intermission there. Might have been taken out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like there used to be an intermission, then yeah, they cut it for like these digital releases.
How many people left the theater going, wow, that was a good movie?
No, I mean it shows up intermission in the screen. Like it says intermission.
Well, yeah. Laugh. It's a funny joke, Callus.
Okay.
That's a good one.
All right. Does anyone else have anything they want to mention or say or critique about The Good, the Bad, the Ugly?
I feel like no, I'm good.
Well, all right then. The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. Il buono, il brutto, il cattivo.
El bueno, el malo y el feo. Had to say in Spanish since it was shot in Spain.
Oh, yeah. Does anyone know a different language that they would like to say the title in? Just for fun.
I could probably
Nope.
say it in sign language, but you'd have to see me.
Well, I
Go
really...
ahead.
Oh,
I was gonna say, go ahead and say it in sign language, and I'll translate it in Morse code for the
Oh,
audience.
okay.
just like
I
Mission
don't
Impossible.
remember. It's been so long since I've done sign language. I don't remember how to do it. I could spell it, but that'd be.
That would take
Anyway,
forever.
continue.
All right, well, yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was really good. I guess the main sticking point for me is not enough of the bad. I feel like that's like the one thing that is a critique. Like I called it a small critique earlier, but I think it's a bit of a sticking point for me because I feel like the other two characters are so fleshed out and so well done. And I mean, even though the bad is still good and he's acted very well, I just felt like we probably could have used more of him. Like maybe show some more of what he was up to or what anything else going on. But I think in general, I think very well shot. Love the soundtrack. Obviously, that's a memorable and just really adds to the entire experience. I enjoyed the plot. I thought the story flowed pretty well. I know it's a bit of a longer experience, but I really didn't have too big of a problem watching it all the way through. Yeah, I thought it had a pretty good pace to it, all things considered. Like each little contained story or section of the story kind of burst its way through. Obviously, there were some parts that I thought were more entertaining than others, sure, but I thought the entirety of the movie was all good. Yeah, I thought the acting was well done. I mean, even though they ADR'd a lot of it, I felt like I didn't really have too much of a problem with that. I thought the effects and stuff were done pretty well. Thought it was written well. I mean, the ending is obviously very iconic where the three stand off. Obviously, that's been replicated in plenty of different places. So in the end, I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5.
All right. I feel like I agree with everything you just said. It is like this is the type of movie that you kind of like have to go in with certain expectations. Like we got to be prepared for this type of movie. But like when you do go, knowing what you're gonna expect. Like this was my second time watching it, so like I knew what I was expecting, and with that in mind, I was able to like really enjoy it and get a lot out of it with its deliberate slow panning scenes and stuff like that. I feel like the cinematography was excellent. I loved all the vistas and like the way that everything was shot. Acting was great. I loved the characters, and I would also have to give it a 4.5 out of 5.
All right, here we go. Overall, like I agree, the soundtrack was great. I think the acting was fine. The ADR did bug me a lot. Every time I just kind of I was taken out of the scenes just because sometimes like I could tell that, I didn't know it was dubbed, which helps it a little bit. I just thought it was just bad ADR, and they're just like, well, we'll just fix it in post. And I'm like, these lip flaps and talking don't add up. It's so bad. I didn't really think the characters were fun. Like, the ugly, I guess, was, like I said, probably my favorite character, but even him was just barely. Overall, like I said, I mean, I don't mind long movies. I know we kind of were talking about that. But yeah, it was fine. Like overall, like I enjoyed it enough, but it definitely wasn't like my favorite movie or even favorite Western. Overall, I'd probably give it a 3.5 out of 5.
Higher than I expected.
Okay.
Vote or give it the rating you want to give. Don't be kind. Just be honest.
All right. Well, given that this is not really my type of movie, and that's about it. I like overall like I thought the acting was okay. The music was great, of course. The scenery was really beautiful. And it's impressive what they were able to pull off, from 66. That was crazy. Yeah, I just did not enjoy it. So I was going into this and still am gonna give it a 2 out of 5.
Wow. Yeah, surprisingly, the budget for this movie is $1,200,000. Well, it's
And they
estimated.
made
So
25.1 million at the box office.
yes.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, the average for this movie, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, is 3.625.
See, that just showed you I was correct in my rating.
You're the closest to the average.
Yep, that means I win a prize, right?
Sure, you'll get to pick the next movie, but next episode.
Oh, okay.
That's your prize.
Sounds good.
I feel like
Speaking
I really
of,
disappointed Yemmy.
Yemmy has left the building.
I feel bad because like I wanted to pick a movie that everyone would like, and 2 out of the 4 did not like it. So
I didn't.
I just feel
3.5 doesn't mean I hate it.
because after Triple X, I'm like, oh, we need a movie that everyone's gonna enjoy, and I thought this was gonna be the one that everyone would enjoy, and well, I was wrong.
That's okay. It's all right.
That's
Like I said,
okay.
I didn't hate it. I enjoyed it enough.
It
but-
wasn't the worst.
Well, 2 is not
I thought-
exactly good.
To
I
be
mean, that
fair,
is what I
thought
gave
everyone,
Brightburn.
I thought everyone was gonna like the movie I picked too. I really thought that everyone was gonna like it, and I was also
You
wrong.
have a very good
So-
track record though. Everyone loved Milan. We all enjoyed.
Yes.
What was it? Wait, what was the one that you thought everyone would like and didn't?
You're
I can't
next.
remember.
See, it was that
yeah,
bad.
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, I did watch that. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
it was fine. It was It's fine.
It's fine.
I mean,
It's fine.
even
I
even
think I
movies
still
that
gave it a
are
3.5 or a 3 or something.
you gave that one a 3. Yeah.
Yeah, see? And 3 is a C, guys, and a C is still good. That's average. It's an average movie. It was fine.
Yeah, think of it this way. It's a 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
Does that sound better than a 3 out of 5? I don't know.
See,
Kind
and I
of
gave
maybe?
this movie a 7 out of 10.
Even though I gave Your Next a low score, I mean, I had a lot that I appreciated about it.
That's fair. I mean, I appreciate stuff about this too, like the music and the scenery and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's impossible for there to be a movie that just like it's just unequivocally loved by everyone. Even like
That's
the most
happened
loved
several
movie
times.
is.
I'll say that's happened several times
No,
on
no,
this
no.
podcast.
No, I'm talking
Look at
about
that
in
list there,
general.
Callus.
No, I'm just talking about like in general. Like, yeah, it's very possible that all 4 of us is gonna like all
Yeah,
really
yeah,
love a
yeah.
movie. I mean, there's been plenty of movies that we've all rated 5 out of 5. But I'm just saying,
Yeah,
in general, it's impossible for there to be a single movie that just like everyone loves in
Yeah.
general.
And if
There's always gonna be someone that
if it's ever made, world peace achieved. So
Yeah, there you go.
I would just
we
like
gotta
to
embrace the differences and
bring
opinions
this up.
and stuff.
the Letterboxd rating, a resounding 43% gave it 5 out of 5. That's over 200,000 votes. 0% gave it 1, 0, a half, 1, and a 1.5. 1% gave it 2. So Ray, you're in the 1%. And
See?
that means you're rich now.
That means I'm just a goober.
and the rest is pretty much all in like there's so 4 and 4.5 are both in the 20% percentile, and 3 and 3.5 are 5 and 7% respectively. So this one is pretty well liked across the board, and it is nice to see that there's at least no one thinking that it's a 0 or a half star, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, if you take certain claimed movies, like everyone loves Godfather and Godfather 2, and I thought those movies were boring
It'd be
and just bad.
it
You
will
didn't
be.
like The Godfather?
I did not like Godfather, no.
Wow.
Well, here this one's even crazier than for you, Tay. With 1 million ratings of 5 or more stars, 54% on Letterboxd.
For Godfather.
Yeah, for Godfather, over.
Yeah,
1
no,
million.
I know a lot of, like, the majority of people love that movie. I'm not one of them.
Yeah, you're
See,
in that
we're just
1%
dudes.
for the 2-star rating.
I don't know if I'd give it. I'd probably give it like a maybe a 2.5, maybe a 3. I don't know. It's been a while since I haven't seen him since I was like 22 or something.
Well, I mean, we have a trilogy watch coming up.
Please.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yo.
I know, in fact, everyone agrees the third one is awful.
6 hours of movie watching. Let's go.
No.
And maybe more. Honestly, more like 10. Okay.
You'll find out next or in a few episodes, people.
Yeah, like 3 episodes, counting Calluses.
Yeah.
All right.
Now let's give us a movie.
Well, nope, not yet. It's time for the
Oh,
small recommendations.
Oh.
The part of the podcast where we give small recommendations. Could be movie, music, TV, etc. Does anyone have anything that they want to bring up right now?
Yeah. If you're moving, pack early.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good advice.
That's what I'm doing, and I'm overwhelmed.
I hear that.
Yeah.
I remember doing that when I had to move states. Moving states is even worse than just
It's the
moving
worst.
houses in like the same city.
Yep. But the good news is we got approved for our condo today, so that's
Nice.
exciting.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
That's a recommendation
Awesome.
also. Get approved for your condo.
Yes. Before you start moving.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I will say I've been watching. Episode 6 came out last week. It's a show on Apple TV called Murderbot. It's based on some books called The Murderbot Diaries. I've been enjoying it though, and I recommend that. Let's watch these shows so they don't get canceled like Wheel of Time did. Go watch Wheel of Time as well. Let's get it saved. Anyways, That's my recommendation. Go watch Murderbots and Wolf Time.
Yeah, I got a bit of a different one, I suppose. A music recommendation. I've been listening to the new 100th album since it came out. It came out like a month ago at this point, and it's been in my rotation pretty much every day, I would say. I've been listening to the entire album, and it's called Faded Splendor. It's got a very unusual album cover. This girl has like a starfish on her face. But it's not my normal music taste, as many people know me as like the metal guy, this guy who likes the screamo and whatever. Like, yes, I do love that stuff, of course. But there's something about this new 100th album that really clicked with me, and it's kind of got like a chill vibe. It's obviously still very poppy at times, but it just clicked with me. And their past like 3 albums, I would say, where after like they changed their sound because they were more of like a heavier band. And then they changed their sound to be much more radio friendly, I call it. And it just wasn't like clicking with me for like 3 albums. And then they've released this album this year, and it has been. So if you just want something chill to listen to in the background, has some fun choruses and good instrumentation, but it's not super heavy. It's a very light album. Here you go. It's 100th. Would recommend checking that out.
Who's the band?
100th.
Oh, okay. I thought that was the album.
No, the album is Faded Splendor.
I've never heard of this band.
But if you do
really
want
like,
something heavier... Oh, go ahead, Callis.
I was just gonna say I really like Big Love of that album. I have that added to my liked
Big
playlist.
Love, so what? You want to run? You want to
Yes.
go now? Yeah. Beautiful. Like I love these songs.
It sounded a lot like Blink 182, actually.
All the small things. No.
It does.
Right? It's not just the way Yemmy has the voice similar to Tom from Blink 182.
Where are you? And I'm so sorry. I
Wait, that
didn't
was-
sleep. I didn't dream
Okay.
tonight.
Okay.
I need something and always. I'm done.
Yeah, you got it. You should just tell them, kick Tom out. I'm your new singer.
And they kicked Tom out for a while, and their
Yeah, they
album
did.
without Tom sucked.
Well, they formed a new band without Tom.
No, they were still
Plus
under
44.
Blink-182. No, they were still under
No,
Blink-182.
They had Plus 44,
Huh?
which I actually enjoyed that album. That was Mark and Travis and a third guy they got. I didn't think they actually released any Blink 182 without.
Yeah, they released 2 Blink albums without Tom. The first one wasn't like bad, but it was also bad, and the second one was just garbage. Anyway, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
if you want something heavier in your rotation, there's a band called Landmarks, and instead of the A in Landmarks, it's actually a V, so it's like an upside down A, very edgy because it's a metal band.
Oh, yes,
Um,
Landmarks.
And the album is called The Darkest Place I've Ever Been, and this album actually probably has my song of the year on it called Creature. If there's any song that you want to listen to off this album, it's Creature. And this band is very interesting to me because not only do they have like the heavy metalcore elements in there, but they're from France and they're very French, and they do these sections where the singer is rapping in French, and it just sounds so cool mixed in with the heavier guitar work. So it's a very unique band. I don't think the entire album is like a 5 out of 5, but it's very good. And if there's one song that you want to listen to on this album, it would be Creature. I'm pretty sure this is going to be my song of the year because it's just like, it's one of those songs. It's also in my rotation pretty frequently. I don't listen to the entire album all the way through like with the 100th album, but for this one, I'm usually jamming the Creature in my car and or putting up an Instagram story with like some sections from the song on it. So that's my duality, heaven and hell recommendation, I guess you could say.
I don't have any. I was gonna recommend an anime, but I am not done watching it. So maybe next time I'll recommend it if I still really liking it by the end of it. But it's called Dororo.
Oh, I thought you
pretty
said
good so far.
Bobobo for a second, and I was about to like scream with joy.
What is that?
I love Bobobo. It's an old Cartoon Network show that was parodying JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, of course.
Mm.
And I didn't know that back in the day, but it's just Bobobo was a very strange yet amazing show, and it has stuck with me ever since. I think I posted like some clips of it in the Discord a while back. It goes pretty off the rails, and that's why I am who I am to this day. That's a joke. Laugh.
Oh.
Oh, Yemmy.
All right. I know I'm a comedian. It's fine. Callus, you have a recommendation for us? What do you got?
I do. So I have two different movies picked out that I'm trying to decide between. Unless you guys want me to pick another Western, you guys want to keep a Western train rolling?
No, we don't have to.
Choo choo.
I think that's the answer. I mean, I wouldn't mind it, but
Yeah, I mean, if you want to keep the Western trade, that's fine. I'm just saying we don't have to.
All right. Now
There
I'll go
are some
with
Western movies I like.
All right. So here's the thing. I picked out two dramas. Feels like we haven't done a drama in a while. And both dramas star a very famous comedian.
Kevin Hart.
So like
Adam Sandler.
both of these movies have a very known comedian
Oh my
known
god.
for doing a lot of comedies, but these movies are not comedies.
Jim Carrey?
Wow, you guys, they both of them. One
was
with
like,
Adam Sandler,
English
one
and
with Jim
Truman
Carrey.
Show?
No, and no.
Okay, so I'm gonna guess one is either Uncut Gems or Spotless Mind. Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Something like that?
No, and no.
Oh wow. Okay.
Hold on.
okay.
Hold on.
Wait, which two did
Punch
you say it
Drunk
was?
Love and the number
Carrey and Adam
21.
Sandler?
It was Adam Sandler. Okay.
No, and no.
Damn.
Me, Myself, and Irene?
That's a comedy.
It's a
Not
comedy.
really. It's kind of sad.
The Truman Show.
Mm,
I already said the Truman Show.
Oh, did you?
no.
All right. Anyway,
Uh,
Callus.
Wait.
So-
Dark Crimes?
No.
Okay. Now I'm just
Better not be
looking 'em up.
20. Better not be like the number 23.
That's why I just
No,
suggested.
it's not
it.
either.
Or I thought I said 21. But
Wait,
Oh,
yeah.
I understand, I know. But no, none of those. These are not very well-known movies, I
Man on
guess.
the Moon.
No.
Damn, God.
So, do you guys
what are
want...
these movies?
So, do you guys want Adam Sandler or Jim Carrey?
I like Jim better than Adam, but
Yeah, I'd
I do
rather have
too.
Jim.
Yeah,
like, Jim
Jim.
Carrey's dramatic movies have not been as good as Adam Sandler, so I don't know.
I will say this one does have like a pretty fun premise, even though it's a drama. Adam Sandler's is kind of sad.
Is it Click? Not kidding.
I was gonna say that.
51st Date?
Let's
so
go.
we're going to
Yeah, I
with
think we're
Jim
going
Carrey
Jim
then?
Carrey. Everyone agree, Jim Carrey.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it then. All right, so my recommendation is Triple X: The Return of Sandra Cage.
Wow.
No, I'm kidding.
He already said it. He already
My-
said it. We're doing it. Triple X.
My recommendation is a movie from 2001 called The Majestic.
Okay, I have heard of that before. I haven't seen it, but I've
Alright.
heard of it.
I've not.
It's directed
heard of
by
this one.
Frank Darabont. It stars Jim Carrey, Martin Landau, Bob Balaban, Jeffrey DeMunn, Laurie Holden, etc. So basically a lot of mostly unknowns except for Jim Carrey. Although I guess Jim Carrey back then maybe wasn't very well. It was,
Yeah, no, he was
2001.
still. He was.
No,
still known at that point.
yeah, 2001 he was definitely known. Okay.
Yeah.
So the movie is basically in 1951, a blacklisted Hollywood writer gets into a car accident, loses his memory, and settles down in a small town where he is mistaken for a long-lost son.
Hmm.
Takes over a movie theater. I
Pretty
remember
much, yeah.
right.
Yes. So you have seen
This
this?
says it's a romance comedy.
Ooh.
Oh. No, like I said, I have heard of it. I remember like when it came out. I think my parents saw it and liked it, but I never saw it, so I just kind of know the basics.
See,
I know-
under IMDb, it says showbiz drama, drama, romance.
I see melodrama and historical drama. That sounds sad.
Well, we're watching it.
Yeah, doesn't matter. We're watching it. Yeah. Maybe
Oh,
you
you
know
can't
what?
watch.
If it is a comedy at the end of the day, Callus, you're gonna be in big trouble, Mister.
I mean, obviously, it's gonna have like some comedic elements, being that the premise itself is kind of silly, but our premise is it is a drama.
I mean, even like the Truman Show is billed as a comedy, but I feel like that's not really a comedy. I mean, it is pretty
Yeah.
dramatic too. So
It's
Yeah.
it's a dramedy at best, or like
Dramedy, I guess, would be
Yeah.
one way to put it.
yeah.
well, all right. If you don't want to be spoiled, or if you want to join the conversation for The Majestic from 2001, make sure you watch that before the next episode airs in 2 weeks. We do these every 2 weeks. You can find it on Amazon, Apple TV, Google Play, YouTube, Plex. I guess I'm not sure what that is. Plex. Tubi with ads.
It's just like a free platform with ads.
Oh.
Flex is kind of schmillegal depending on how you look at it or use it, I guess.
Well, okay.
I only know
also
because-
on Canopy as well.
Oh, also, it should be known that this movie is 2 hours and a half.
2 hours and a half.
Yes.
I love the way you said that.
I don't know why I said it like that.
I don't even care. It's the best.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to this episode of the Film Freaks podcast. Like I said, we do these every 2 weeks, so it's a bi-weekly show. We'd appreciate if you commented and or liked and or subscribed. Also, if you're listening to this on Spotify, if you could rate the podcast out of 5, it does help with discoverability. How fun. And if you also want to join the fan vote, as I mentioned earlier in the podcast with my cowboy accent, you can either send us an email at ff.filmfreaks with a Z at the end, or comment on the latest episode of the podcast on YouTube and or the other platforms as well. Or if you just comment in the Discord in the movie stuff section saying, I want to recommend this movie, we'll mark that down as well. And if you regret the movie you pick, you can always change your movie as well, as other people have done in the past. So, yeah, lots of different ways to do that. We're always looking for new movie recommendations. But as I said, there will not be a fan vote this week because we're coming up on the 150th episode. Will it all fall apart before then? Find out next time on Film Freaks. Film Freaks with a Z, kind of like Dragon Ball Z. Yeah? Yeah?
Hey.
Balls Z.
Well, I am Yemmy the Ferret, and I've been here with...
The Blue.
The Tay.
The Ray.
And this has been another episode of Film Freaks with a Z. Thank you for listening. So long, partner.
So long.
Yeehaw.